Back again with part 2 of season 1, episode 2, Beyond Scared. Tonight is more Paranormal Encounters. Please like, share, subscribe. Enjoy.
The next video we'll see today comes from TikTok and more specifically from the profile of Tracy Perez, who shared it with the community. It's a video captured with a home CCTV camera placed at her good friend's house. Although the video is a few minutes long, at first nothing suspicious happens, simply one of them gets up and after a while he returns with something to drink. However, soon after that the situation changes dramatically and we can witness some rather intriguing phenomena. In the first place, the door closed by one of them opens by itself, and a moment later something is thrown inside the room. Up to this point, the footage looks like a mere prank by a person who stands outside the room while remaining outside the camera's watchful eye. On the other hand, a moment later, something truly terrifying happens.
¿Pero qué?
Ya estaba durmiendo, ya era más tardecito todavía.
Deje que vea mi video y ahorita le digo algo.
Y allá en la casa del Carmen también lo asustaron feísimo.
En la casa del Carmen me asustaban más todavía, vea.
¡Ay, hijo de puta! ¡Lo tomaron! ¡Ay!
Dios mío.
¿Sí vio?
En el Carmen le tocaron las cuerdas.
One of the men visible on the video, by now asleep, is clearly being pulled upwards by his legs, pulled by a mysterious invisible force. However, it doesn't stop there.
Con las cuerdas de una guitarra. Me dice, usted era, usted dice como...
Lo levanté.
¿Y eso que haya qué es?
Es una bola, yo no sé qué lanzaron. Ahí va la silla, va la silla.
When one of them woke up the other, thinking that he was making fun of him, the chair standing by the desk suddenly moved. It's a great pity that I don't speak the language because we would have more information about all of this, but even if we don't understand anything, the situation itself can be called quite unusual. 2011, Stephanie, a freshman from the States, began to experience strange phenomena in her new apartment. She found the situation unnatural when her dog, who usually greeted her cheerfully when she came back home, this time didn't do so. Instead, he sat by the closet door in the basement. He didn't even respond to calls of his owner, but after opening the closet, she found nothing suspicious. Nevertheless, her dog continued to obsessively watch the wardrobe. However, let's remember that dogs and animals in general are able to sense and feel much more than people. It quickly became apparent that something was wrong with the house, and especially with the suspicious wardrobe. But what was it? The answer was very close. She just had to wait for the right moment.
Are you videotaping?
Yeah, for Stan.
I did. I won't break them.
Michelle's getting like really good at the drums. So you might have some competition when you get back. We love you, we'll see you soon.
On one occasion, Stephanie was recording her room and struggles with the drums, but the girls didn't pay attention to the fact that they were being watched. During the few seconds of the video, an unnaturally pale, elderly woman can be seen standing behind slightly open door of the dressing room, the same dressing room that caught the attention of the dog before. As the author of the video points out, at that moment they didn't see any figure and the wardrobe was simply empty. The next video comes from a channel called Fatos e Misterios, or simply Facts and Mysteries in English. On this channel you can find many expeditions to various potentially haunted places, but the one we will see today was a nighttime adventure in the woods, in a place where people report about mysterious white figure.
Nasci, velho, eu tô arrepiado, não tô nem vendo aqui direito. Espera,
Espera. Tô subindo aqui no barranco, né, mano? Danilo?
Oi, eu tô aqui embaixo.
Cadê, pô? Cadê tu?
Embaixo, eu tô olhando pro lado e pro outro.
Dá pra enxergar porra nenhuma, mano.
Tá não vendo não?
Eu tô vendo nada não, uma escuridão dessas. Como é que... Eu tive a impressão de que eu filmei alguma coisa aqui, preto, branco. Porra, foi isso?
Foi.
Peraí, deixa eu ligar a lanterna. Tem um aqui na frente ainda, aqui, porra. Aqui tá feio, não, porra.
Não.
Aqui não. Isso aqui é o quê? Ligo, mano.
Liga, não tô vendo nada, mano.
Vou ligar, vi, cara. Tá passando um avião aqui, mano.
Traversing the dense forest at night and expecting some strange experience, they quickly got what they wanted. At one point, a white figure whose face cannot be seen appeared right in front of them. The question is whether it was the one the locals were talking about, or was the whole thing just simply a fake? But if so, how did the mysterious figure appear so suddenly without making any noise at all? And now we'll see something really interesting and controversial at the same time. We'll take a look at the video of certain Pakistani YouTuber, Shahmer Abbas. He has gained fame mainly by creating pranks, and consequently many believe that he shouldn't be taken seriously. Of course, such thinking makes perfect sense, but in the case of what we are about to see, Abbas has explained several times that what happened to him was in no way staged. As he explains, everything was supposed to be an innocent, one might say a break into a closed house under the flag of a YouTuber who is allowed to do everything and who simply can't be stopped. However, after a brief introduction and entry into the building, something began to happen.
ये ऑक्सीजन क्या ये इधर कोई मूवमेंट हुई है भाई यहाँ से यहाँ पे मूवमेंट हुई है इधर से आवाज आई कहाँ से ये आवाज यहाँ से इस साइड से आई है नहीं यार तुम लोगों ने तो नहीं किया कोई है नहीं ड्रामे यार ड्रामे तो नहीं कर रहे नहीं इस साइड से आवाज आई है किसी ने नहीं अगर किसी ने किया तो बता दो भाई
हम तो आपके साथ थे ये आवाज
कुत्ता ही भौंका रहा है
ये
भी है
यार ये कौन कर रहा है
तो गाइस जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया कि लोग कहते हैं कि यहाँ पे कि ऊपर से बट्टे आते हैं चीज़ें आती हैं तो पूछने की यहाँ पे
साइड को यहाँ पे
They were surprised by someone's presence. It looked as if someone simply wanted to scare them. Soon, the team started arguing to continue or to end the exploration. Eventually, Abbas managed to convince them that it was necessary to find out what this was all about, and it was exactly at this point that something happened that made the prank YouTuber so incredibly humble.
क्या हुआ है?
शमीर को शमीर शमीर वो शमीर क्या हुआ बोलो कैमरा छोड़ के इधर आ जा यार पीछे
الله الصمد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد الله الصمد
If his words are to be believed, it was a possession by jinn. As he recounts, after his friends finally managed to carry him out of the building and take him home, the attack occurred once more. Abbas swears that during what happened, he fully lost consciousness, and if it weren't for the video, he wouldn't even know what was happening to him at that time. I realized that neither I nor probably any of you are experts on possession, much less by jinn, but the more I watch this and the more I listen to his explanation, what we just saw seems to me more and more likely. Of course, I encourage you to watch the original video found on his channel, because only then you will have a complete picture of the whole situation.
Soul. Revive it.
You fucking heard that.
What the fuck is going on, dude?
Violence?
While trying to follow one of the signals, the ghost decided to gently rearrange the living room. The coffee table was moved, the flashlight hanging on the wall was lit and swung, and all this happened while the rocking chair began to move by itself upstairs. Despite their efforts, contact with the souls haunting the cottage was difficult because the man encountered a very large obstacle: Mary. Mary. That was the name of ghost that had clung to Jordan many years ago and despite many attempts, refused to leave him. Soon after, the paranormalists finished the first day of investigation and left the cottage area, but they left the equipment there just in case, hoping to record something unusual. And as it turns out, this was a very good idea. The equipment left in the cottage began to go crazy again. After a while, the flashing lights in the vestibule showed the reflection of a mysterious figure. Paranormalists suspect it was one of the women hunting the cottage, inferring by the shape of the silhouette. Once inside for the next night, they witnessed several times strange thumping, the sounds of breaking branches, and the sounds of footsteps coming from upstairs. They were already about to head up there if not for one chilling situation.
What was that bang up here?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
What?
Did you hear that? That bang at the door?
What happened?
Oh, I don't know. It felt like I got pushed.
Fell down.
Oh my god.
You slipped?
I don't know. It felt like I got pushed, but it felt like something pushed me. Oh my god.
The man falls, and a moment later the door opens on its own, as if something crashed in through the main entrance with all its might. Johnny, one of the investigators, insists that it was no ordinary loss of balance. Eventually, the man decided that they were not prepared for something like this, and they had to stop the investigation.
You do want to call this one early. Like, there's plenty that we got.
Fear me.
Investigação Sobrenatural is a Brazilian channel dedicated to looking for ghosts and other paranormal phenomena. Its founders are famous for conducting investigations in many different potentially paranormal places. This time, however, they encountered something truly terrifying. One day, they were asked for help by an anonymous woman who, since the death of her brother, has been struggling with incredibly strong and dangerous poltergeist activity. And by saying that, I really mean it.
Olha, vai ficar tudo bem. Você falou que o seu irmão morreu aqui nessa casa, né? Tiraram a vida dele dentro de um banheiro. Tem como me mostrar onde foi esse banheiro?
Sabe, no banheiro ali.
Esse aqui, né?
Aí, já começou. Vocês são contra, minha mãe morreu. Como vocês vão me deixar em paz?
Calma. Meu Deus, cara. Calma. Respira fundo, calma. Ó, ele só quer assustar, entendeu? Só quer te deixar desequilibrado, entendeu? Quer fazer com que a gente fique assustado, entendeu? Nervoso. Respira fundo, fica calmo, entendeu? Pense em Deus, pense em coisas boas, tá bom? Tá bom, respira fundo.
A gente tá aqui contigo.
Isso, calma. Viu? Ele só quer tentar assustar a gente. É só mais um desequilibrado, só isso, tá certo? Você tem condição de continuar? Porque é importante. Tem, não tem? Pronto. Me mostra como foi que o seu irmão faleceu. Calma. Pera. Calma, fica calma.
Entendeu? Olha pra mim, ó. Foi isso aí.
O espelho quebrou sozinho. Meu Deus.
A gente tem esse câmera de fogo. Tô arrepiado, cara.
Vai, filma aí.
Viu isso? Olha isso também, Paulo. Olha isso, cara.
No espelho também, espelho. É isso, gente.
At the very beginning, while they were still talking, something that is hard to explain started happening around them. An invisible force through plates, a bookcase standing by the wall began to shake, and as if that wasn't enough, in some magical way, a mirror hanging on the wall shattered with a real loud bang. After all this, the owner of the house found herself terrified, and the team of ghost hunters had to spend quite a bit of time to calm her down. Soon after, they got back to matter at hand and decided to focus on the problem of freeing the soul trapped in the house. They decided to perform a special ritual, and during the explanation, something really weird happened.
Porque na mente dele, ele acha que a gente está provocando, né? Ele está expulsando a gente. É até uma oportunidade, né? De baixar a vibração e tentar a comunicação, né? Pelo menos uma comunicação mais amigável, né?
As they stood at the table, one of them started to look behind him, as if he felt someone's touching him. He didn't realize it at the time, but it seems that the watchful eye of the camera has caught something that shouldn't have been there at all. Something that looks like a barely visible human face. I'm not quite sure how the ritual was supposed to work, but from what I understood, the man lying on the table surrounded by candles was somehow supposed to serve as a link between them and the spirit. And it looks like the whole thing really worked, because it all didn't go unnoticed.
Como ele vai reagir, né?
Isso. Se você quiser se materializar em cima do Paulo, pode se apresentar aqui, né? Concentre sua energia. Se quiser pegar no braço do Paulo, na perna dele, no pescoço do Paulo, né? Vai, Paulo. Fica à vontade. Se concentra. Tenta pegar no pescoço do Paulo. Meu Deus do céu. Olha, ó. Meu Deus.
Piado.
Você não vai assustar a gente, entendeu? Deus é poderoso, Deus é maior que você. Você não é maior que Deus. Você não é maior que Deus. Você não é maior que Deus. Deus é muito maior que você. Você não vai assustar a gente. Você não vai assustar a gente.
tá querendo desafiar, mano. Acho que ele pensa que a gente quer bater de frente com ele.
Tô me tremendo todinho, cara. Olha isso, ó. Filma isso, câmera. Tô me tremendo todinho. Olha isso, sushi. Quebrou tudo, ó. Olha aqui, ó. Mostra aqui, ó. Mostra, vem, mostra. Ó. Quebrou tudo, gente, ó. Ó, quebrou tudo, ó. Tá aqui, ó.
Olha isso, tudo rachado. Rachou tudo.
Ó, quebrou tudo, gente.
É você que tá afrontando a gente?
Ó, pessoal. Quebrou tudo, ó. Olha isso aqui, gente, ó. Quebrou tudo, gente, ó. Ó. Ó, quebrou tudo, ó. Ó, tá aqui, ó. Quebrou tudo, ó.
Whatever they wanted to achieve with the ritual, it seemed to only make the spirit more angry. After that, they started to pray in hope that the spirit will leave the house, but did they succeed? To be honest, I have no idea, as the video shortly after ends. A group of teenage girls from Argentina once met at the house of one of them to have a nice evening with chips, coke and a session with Ouija board. They didn't have the original one, instead they made a makeshift version out of a piece of paper and used a wine glass as a pointer. When the girls finally sat down at the table, after only a short while, they already had to interrupt the session. This was because one of them, as a joke, decided to move the glass over the board. However, at that time they didn't know that in reality it wasn't done by any of them.
En serio. Sí. Hay que terminar. No, mira esto. No. Se mueve. Agárrenme. Boluda. Agárrenme. Ay, no se mueve sola. Ay. Se mueve la cortina, mira, se mueve la cortina. No, ey. No. Ay, boluda. Prende. Tu linterna. Tu linterna. Dale, pues, dale, que tengo miedo, boluda. No. Hay algo acá, boluda, no, yo tengo miedo. Guadalupe. Ahí está. Guada. Guada. No. Vicky. Ay, Dios, por favor. Vicky, dale, boluda, no jodas así, Vicky, por favor, Vicky. Victoria, ¿qué querés? Déjale a ella, llévame a mí. Ay, Dios.
As you could see, everything happened very fast, and the glass moving at the beginning was only a starting point to something bigger. Whatever they had made contact with, even in the presence of the girls, it moved the glass and the curtains again, to then turn off the electricity in the whole house to finally attack one of them. What's worse, at the very end, we can hear a specific growling, which may suggest that one of the girls was actually possessed. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find any specific information about this video, but maybe some of you will know something more. The next video comes from a supposedly haunted school, more specifically from a security camera set up in one of the rooms in the building. The footage is quite old as it was uploaded to the internet in 2013, but I think it's quite interesting. Take a look. As I said, the video is quite old and its quality is not that great, but it's enough to play with it a little bit and whatever was recorded becomes quite visible. A semi-transparent figure walking through the dark room not once, but twice. On top of that, it seems that whatever it is, it looks like a nun in the outfit in which years ago they sometimes taught in special schools. The only question that remains is, what are the chances that this video is real? Isn't it somehow too good to be true? Usually we have to deal with moving objects or some barely visible body parts, but here we can see exactly the whole walking figure, a bit blurred, but ultimately visible really well. Let me know what you think about this in the comments, I would love to read them all. The next video on our today's list is truly horrifying. It comes from Mexico and was captured on a security camera that caught a very unusual situation involving one of the employees. As the man later recounted, while on evening patrol, he noticed a little girl sitting alone, and when he approached her, she asked him if he had seen her mom. When the man called his colleagues over the radio, they told him that no girl was visible on the cameras and that he looked like he was standing there talking to himself. Eventually, the frightened security guard ran as fast as he could to meet with the rest of his colleagues. This is one of those situations where we can only take the man's words for it, but the longer I watch the video, the interaction of the security guard with that thing only he saw seems more and more natural. If what the man says is true, the situation and the video are simply incredibly frightening. We'll now join the Indonesian ghost hunters who have already appeared on our channel in the past. Well, maybe not exactly ghost hunters, but more like people whose main intention is to bring peace to wandering souls by performing prayers in potentially haunted places. Of course, despite their noble goals, sometimes we get the impression that the spirits don't quite like what they are doing. This time they went to a potentially haunted abandoned playground that had witnessed brutal kidnappings and murders many years ago. After carefully explaining the history of the place to their audience and conducting a preliminary inspection to make sure they were alone, something very strange happened.
ทำการเริ่มพิธีกรรมสื่อสารกับน้องนะครับโดยการใช้ธูปและเทียนเนี่ยเอาสายสิญจน์เนี่ยพันนะแล้วก็พันที่มือพี่โอจุดแล้วก็ทำการสื่อสารว่าน้องเขารู้ตัวไหมว่าน้องเขาเฮ้ยแต่ส่องไฟนี่มีใครจะทำอะไรเปล่าเฮ้ยในกล้องเห็นไหมเมื่อกี้ในกล้องเห็นไหมมันขยับเองไม่ได้โดนนะลมหรือเปล่าบ้านี่ลมไหนจะเผาลมไหนจะพัดเล็กได้ปิวขนาดนี้เสียละเนี่ยที่หายละไม่นอกมาเนี่ยไอ้โอ้ฉันกลัวผีเล็กน้อยนี่เราจะทำพิธีต่อไหม
As they were explaining how the ritual works, the swing standing nearby began to move by itself, which of course brought to mind one very scary possibility. They were dealing with the spirit of a small child. Of course, the man continued, they moved on to the prayer, and it was then that something truly terrifying happened.
Hey,พี่อัดเป็นไรเนี่ยมึงโอเคแม่งดับเองอะคามือเลย
As the rest of them moved away and one of them lit a candle and sat in the darkness, the candle suddenly went out by itself. But actually, here we should pay attention to something else, something much more frightening. Moments before the candle goes out, in the darkness behind them, we are able to make out something that shouldn't be there. And whatever it is, it becomes a little more visible with some brightening. But what is it? Maybe they were in fact dealing with the spirit of a small child, the child who actually didn't really want any help at all. The next video we are going to see comes from Reddit and it has gained quite a bit of attention. The video comes from an unspecified Asian country and shows something really unusual. During a nighttime car ride, a group of friends noticed from a distance what looked like a silhouette of a man standing right on the edge of the huge cliff. Fearing that it was a future jumper, they decide to start recording and slowly but firmly approach and possibly help. However, they didn't expect such a turn of events. As they got a little closer, a figure standing over the edge of the cliff jumped into the darkness. But there was neither a scream nor a thump, nor were they able to look down. Additionally, if we look closely, before the figure jumped, at one point we can see it seems to be a bit transparent against the white warning elements. It is possible that the men were dealing with a jumper that night, it is true, but the one who jumped a long time ago, but for some reason repeats his decision time and time again and stands on the slope of the cliff without realizing that he is actually dead. Ghosts in general love dark abandoned places where they can easily scare innocent people. This time, however, is different. The clip comes from one of the CCTV cameras mounted at a store in British town of Whitstable and shows the moment when one customer's shopping experience was slightly disturbed.
Check this out, right? This guy here, watch behind his head. What? Keep watching. Oh. Just look at the shelf. It's the weirdest thing.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what is that?
It's just blowing, I don't know,
Oh my god. Oh my god, that looks like a poltergeist or something like that. You know the thing, you know when they hear about things like flying, oh my god, I don't like it, I don't like it.
It's weird, isn't it?
The man himself seems a bit confused by what's going on around him. He's not even a bit scared, or at least we can't see it in his reaction. He puts away the products that fell off the shelves a moment before, and one of them even stopped for a long moment midair. It's as if something invisible is holding it motionless. The man doesn't seem to realize that he's dealing with a poltergeist, but looking at it from the perspective of the CCTV camera, there is only one conclusion. Recently, while browsing TikTok, I came across a video on Southerhound's account which intrigued me quite a bit, so I decided to find out a bit more, and it turned out that Chris, the owner of the account, together with his girlfriend Heather, once decided to have a session with infamous Ouija board. However, during this session, they made a small mistake.
E. R. E.
Here. Oh my god. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Oh my god, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
I'm freaked out now. Oh no. Hold on, hold on.
Was that upstairs? Oh my god. Oh my god!
During the session, hearing strange noises, they both took their hands off the board, which is of course not allowed. Soon after, unexplained things began to happen in their entire house. Opening shelves and drawers or moving objects quickly became a new normal. However, the mysterious being's favorite activity was something completely different.
So as I was going back looking through clips, I happened to stumble upon this because somebody actually pointed it out in the comments. I actually slowed down the part that had something in it, so if you can find it, let me know.
Shit.
Wake up. Wake up.
What?
There's somebody ringing the doorbell. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Go check, see if somebody's at the door. Is anybody there?
No. I was going crazy.
Shut and lock the door. Lock the door. There's no way somebody ran off that fast.
At first, it looked like Chris and Heather were struggling with an ordinary poltergeist. A poltergeist that was very fond of banging on doors, windows and rearranging the apartment. However, it soon became apparent that in their home was something much more powerful. The scratch mark suddenly appearing on Chris's back could even indicate that the new occupant of their house was in fact a demon. Interestingly, whatever it was seemed to interact with them without any problems.
Okay, so I've been having a lot of weird stuff happen lately, and if there's somebody here with me right now, can you please open the door? Thank you. If you're mad at somebody in this house or mad in general, can you open the door harder? Please? Oh my god, I'm so scared. Oh my god. Oh my god. And I got goosebumps, y'all. Thank you.
Now the situation continues to evolve, with Chris occasionally uploading hard-to-explain videos to his profiles, often surprising people with something completely new. It's a video from a camera left in the child's room, so parents can be sure that nothing bad is happening to the child. What could have gone wrong? It looks as if some invisible force is moving the baby's legs, pulling them further and further upwards. While the beginning of the video can be described as ordinary fidgeting in one's sleep, its second part is very difficult to explain. An infant in this position would not be able to put its legs that high on its own, especially while sleeping. People commenting on this post said that whatever moved the baby's body, it didn't necessarily have bad intentions. As we can see, the baby is lying on its stomach, and many consider sleeping in this position as a danger for the youngest, because it's easy to block the airways. People have concluded that whatever it was, it wanted to help the baby turn onto its back, so it was actually protecting it. But what is the truth? We don't know, but I think we can agree that that night the child was not alone. Donna Ayers is a young British woman who has been telling us her paranormal story on her YouTube channel since 2014. Donna believes that her roommate is some kind of demonic force. She has repeatedly witnessed things moving, but whatever it is, as usual in the case, over time it has become more and more stronger. But let's start from the beginning.
That's not me, is it, the camera? Hang on, guys, I'm just going to get a better view because this is amazing. I'm just going to turn the light up a bit as well. If that's you, please move it again. That is moving. Oh my god, that is moving. Oh, thank you. Wow. That is amazing. There's a couple of little kind of white specks what I'm seeing on the camera here, but that's just the light, I think, shining off. That's not orbs or anything.
Once upon a time, a peaceful evening was disturbed by a small incident. The woman naturally pulled out the camera to capture the phenomenon. Even without asking questions, the lamp moved by itself, and after asking the ghost to move the chandelier, it swung even more. There were, of course, many more phenomena like this one.
Anyway, I'll upload that, see what you guys think. I just caught it as it was moving, you see. So, yeah. I'll just show you as well. There's nothing underneath, there's nothing. It's just an old metal cup. Metal. Weird. Oh my gosh. The surface isn't wet or anything, it's all dry. So there's no reason for it to be moving. And it's moving again. I don't like it at all.
The woman proved that there were no ropes or magnets by opening shelves and drawers in the area. Although such phenomena are truly bizarre, the jokes only really end when a mysterious force touches our bodies.
They were certainly acting a bit weird. It's gone cold again. See, it's so strange. See, I get the feeling there's something here right now. Right now. And yet I don't. No one here. Yeah, there's no one around me. I don't know if you guys are seeing that, it's bringing tears to my eyes. Just no one gets it. My chain's moving on my neck.
At some point, the chain around the woman's neck began to move, or rather it looked as if it was being gently lifted by an invisible force. The whole event was also accompanied by Dana's dog, which apparently was worried about something and all the time kept whining. Whatever is this dark entity, its presence has caused Dana many problems. It even put her own life at risk. And to make everything worse, we last received an update on YouTube more than 6 years ago, and after that, all traces of Dana's activity simply stopped. The author of the following video is a man called Henning, a Norwegian who had the pleasure of experiencing paranormal phenomena many years ago. He repeatedly heard a series of unexplained sounds in his old house in Oslo, and they seemed to have some connection with the attic. Of course, as is usually the case, no one really believed him, but fortunately for us, on January 20th, 2011, he managed to record one of these incidents.
Hallo? 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 Hallo?
As it turned out, after tracking down the source of the noise, the handle mounted on the door leading to the attic was moving up and down, just as if someone was holding it from the other side. It looked as if someone was trying to get out of the attic. And you're probably not surprised by the fact that there was no one there after he opened the door. No one was even in the camera frame, although it would have been hard for anyone to run up the stairs so quickly. This is the only video we can find on his channel. Unfortunately, he didn't show us the inside of the attic, but I suspect that the place is for sure hiding a lot of secrets. It's said that college is the best time of our lives, because it's the last opportunity to get enough fun and have many adventures before entering adulthood. These three students decided to really make the most of it. Over 12 years ago, they came up with the crazy idea of getting into a storm drain after dark just to see what's inside. Armed with a chemical light and one large flashlight, they went down. They didn't quite know what to expect, but they hoped to find something really scary. Sometimes though, it's worth being careful what you wish for.
Rats. That is a lot of rat. You want to get another one to get some light in here?
I want to open two.
Dude, you gotta gnaw it on it.
I'm fucking gnawing it.
Dude, give me the bag. I have canine keys. I never had
You know what? Here, I did bring you along for something.
Let's see it. Yeah. Did you just do it in one try? One.
He's got canine keys. One bite. He's part werewolf.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, fuck. Now turn off the...
Okay, turn off the lights.
You see anything?
Yeah. Toss it down. Dude, it's not bright enough. Crack the other one. That was lovely. But let me try to do the other one too. I don't think you're throwing out enough light here.
Anything?
What the f***?
As they turned off the flashlight to check the power of the chemical light, just behind one of them, something terrifying appeared. The men ran down the tunnel in panic, not even checking what they were dealing with. But we can't really blame them. At such a moment, one thinks only of escape. The following video is rather short, but really interesting. Plus, it's very mysterious because there is no information about it on the internet. It's a brief moment captured on a CCTV camera placed in a cafeteria-like room in some larger building, perhaps in the building of some company. However, it appears to be a place with rather dark history, because one time the CCTV recorded something that is really difficult to explain. In a seemingly ordinary frame, at one point a figure appears just before our eyes. Interestingly enough, it could easily be mistaken for an ordinary person. Whatever it is, for just a split second, opens the fridge, and after a while it is visible right at the kitchen counter. The problem arises when a second person enters the room and the motion sensors detect this. At this point, the lights turn on and not even a trace is left of the mysterious figure. The behavior of the man entering the room also doesn't indicate that he noticed something unusual. Only the security guard who observed the situation with the camera eye was able to notice the mysterious figure. Perhaps it was the ghost of a person who was somehow connected to the place and, not realizing that he was already dead, continued his daily routine. At one point, when they stood in front of a larger corridor, in the opposite room, a child's toy left there years ago began to move on its own. However, when they came closer thinking it was some other human, it turned out they were entirely alone. But this was only the beginning of strange events. It wasn't long before they noticed that EMF meters began to go crazy, often reaching their maximum value, although they mostly stayed in the yellow range. However, when they tried to determine the exact source of the anomaly, it suddenly stopped, but instead they witnessed something equally interesting.
Ya no está.
As soon as they focused their full attention on the device, or rather on the fact that it stopped indicating any major reading, and entered one of the rooms, almost at the same moment an invisible force closed the iron grating behind them. To make things even more interesting, when they checked the door with a meter, after a while they found that it started to respond again. They decided to follow this trail, however, whatever it was, it decided to scare them even more.
Aquí está. Estás atrás de la puerta. Sigue marcando el segundo foquito. Bueno, se fue. Se movió, ¿eh? Aquí está en el rincón, aquí está en el rincón. Mira, 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 mira. Muévete a otro rincón. ¿Puedes? Ah, ya no está. Ya no está, mira. Voy a ver acá. ¿Dónde estás? ¡Uy, cabrón! ¡Ah, no mames! ¿Qué? ¿Lo grabaste?
When it seemed they managed to establish a thread of communication with this entity, it soon became apparent that whatever it was merely toying with them, throwing things near the door again. However, it was only what they experienced moments later made the situation simply terrifying.
Mira, mira.
They heard a terrifying sound. Worse, it seemed that its source was in a very short distance. You probably won't be surprised to know that at almost the same moment on the meter they were holding, more readings suddenly appeared. Interestingly, they seemed to intensify and weaken in one particular place, by an old bag hanging on the wall.
Y ahí me está marcando. No mames.
¿Qué es, güey?
No sé, güey. Creo que es ropa, pero se ve muy extraña, güey. Mira, se movió. Aquí está. Se mueve y regresa. ¡Ah!
As they looked at the suspicious bag in silence, some small object was thrown in their direction, quite as if the lurking entity didn't wish them to look inside. After that, they left the room and decided to move the exploration a little further away from the buildings, but it seemed that whatever it was, it had no intention of stopping at all.
Ay, güey, ¿ya viste? Algo era aquí. Algo era. Pero no sé de qué. No mames. ¿Viste eso?
As they looked at one of the many objects left on the farm in the darkness, a heavy curtain hanging over the entrance to a nearby building began to move. They both in this very moment thought the same thing. It was definitely a person, however, when they quickly ran into the building, it turned out to be completely empty. And again, except for them, there was no human being.
Muy fuerte aquí, ¿eh? Muy fuerte. Me está marcando energía aquí. Ya no. No, ya no está, güey. Ya no está. ¿Qué pedo? No sé qué está pasando, güey. Solo tiene residuos como de plástico.
Of course, these are just fragments from their trip to the haunted farm. The whole thing is incredibly atmospheric and scary, so I recommend watching the entire thing on their channel. Especially since not long after the trip, they went to that place once again, but I'll let you check it out by yourselves. The night. For many of us, it's terrifying. We can't imagine working alone on the night shift, especially in a huge, almost completely empty building. Luckily, there are brave ones in this world who have no problem with it at all. just like the hero of the following video, a security guard working on a night shift. Although it would be more appropriate to say former security guard, because after the situation he experienced during one of his night rounds, he probably started looking for a new job. Doesn't this video seem strange? At first, he seems to be waving at something, then he opens the door for someone, and after that he stands by the elevator and gives the impression that he is talking to another person. Only the security guard was the entire time alone. And it was at that point that his colleague, seeing the strange situation, contacted him on the radio asking why he is behaving this way, and then the whole situation became even weirder. When the second security guard, concerned, contacted the one we see in the video and convinced him that the cameras see him alone, the man, without thinking, terrified, runs outside the building. And honestly, I would have done the same thing. Apparently, after the situation, it was established that the guard that night met one of the tenants, a friendly older woman whom he wanted to help get into the house, a woman who was seen only by him, a woman with whom he was about to board a small, closed elevator. The succubus is a demon who takes the form of an extremely attractive woman, visits men in their sleep, and tempts them with the wildest sexual fantasies in order to suck the life energy out of them immediately afterwards. The author of the following video claims that he has been visited night after night by the infamous succubus. As proof, he decided to share this very video with the entire world.
Attacked by incubots for I don't know how long now. I really get tired of it. So I'm here to put the camera on overnight to document this thing. I'm not a good sleeper. I have to use this mask to sleep with at night. So it's not going to be pretty, so just be patient. I don't know how long it's going to take. It usually comes around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
A few hours after he fell asleep, something pulled the blanket to the floor, and immediately after that we are able to see barely visible outline of a figure of sorts slowly climbing over him and eventually sitting on his chest. At the same moment, the man seems to start choking, and soon after he seems to feel a lot of pain. Only, was this a real visit of succubus? This is a first time we are able to see such video, but this isn't surprising because how many people have a chance to experience a direct attack of a demon? But maybe some of you had a similar experience. If so, share it in the comments, I'm sure everyone would love to read it.